Hey everyone, welcome back to Shock and Schlock. I'm your host, Herschel Gillis, and today we are taking a look at the film Pathogen. Pathogen is a 2006 zombie horror film written, directed, and produced by Emily Higgins. Um, First off, the first thing I want to talk about this is the special thing that drew me to this film initially was that during the production of the film, director, producer, writer, everything there, Emily Higgins was 12 years old. 12. Middle school. Um, it's really worth noting about that. This was the recent Blu-ray released by AGFA, Bleeding Skull, and put out by Vinegar Syndrome 16 years after the initial release, just to sort of celebrate that. The film itself follows a young girl and her group of friends sort of dealing with a zombie outbreak caused by a pathogen in the water supply of their town. So the first thing I want to talk about is, of course, the elephant in the room is it was made by a 12-year-old, so how does that affect the movie? The film is actually surprisingly well made for a shot-on-video film like this. If you watch this on your own and you replace the child actors with adults, you wouldn't be able to tell that it was made by a 12-year-old. The writing is decent. Even the child actors are not too bad. I mean, I would even go as far as to say that this is pretty good by shot-on video standards of any age group or anything like that. The music is pretty good. The sound design, everything is fine there. It's all pretty good for a first-time filmmaker there. But the thing that's really drawn you to this movie is probably the fact that Emily Higgins was 12 when she wrote this. So how does that affect the film's production? So the first thing that is worth noting is that everybody in the film is a child, or like the main characters are in middle school, but it is still a fairly gory zombie movie. Yeah, fun stuff there. The story itself, it moves pretty quickly. There's actually some funny dialogue in this. It was pretty enjoyable. Nothing that would, wouldn't award if it was made by somebody else, but, it'd be a solid shot-on-video film, better than the majority of them anyway. But the special thing about this movie is, to me personally at least, I'm around the same age as Emily Higgins is now. So the film, to me personally, is probably going to mean a bit more or be more impactful towards myself and people of my age group, that being I'm 23, so I would say around the 20 to 30 age range there, because it's going to have stuff that you recognize from your own childhood, sort of like mine. It really brought on a wave of nostalgia for me in that time. This film is like the feeling of getting out of class on a Friday night getting out of class on a Friday, going out with your friends on Friday night, having a sleepover, waking up and just going back to do it again the next day. That feeling of renting a horror movie from the video store that your parents don't let you watch, and you still rent it, sneak it into the house and watch it with friends, and that showing off to your friends that you watch the latest R-rated horror movie and stuff like that. It really feels like that. It brings back that feeling to me. It's the type of movie that I would have liked when I was 12, and it still is something that it feels very passionate to me. The thing about kids like that are this age as well is that it's hard to just BS things or be pretentious about your film or anything like that. If someone was to make this, there's an authenticity that comes with that age. You can't joke about it, and it feels very authentic, and like you can feel the passion, energy, and fun that was put into this by everybody involved, not just the kids, but the parents of the kids that were there. Emily's mother and father worked in the film as well. They weren't the main people there, but they were assistants on set, as well as actors in the film itself, in her father's case. But you just see that like there's this energy there that like it's a group of people coming together, doing something that they're enjoying. And I always really appreciate films like that. They just feel much more authentic. Like they don't really care about making money or finding an audience or anything like that. They're not pandering. It feels like a movie that's just put out there to, it'll just find its own audience is what the creator wanted to make, and the creator just happens to be 12 years old. Emily Higgins has actually gone on to direct several indie movies in adulthood, several of which are fairly good. I'm actually going to be doing a review of one of them. I won't spoil it here as well, but I will also talk about the Blu-ray here. I always like to talk about that too. The Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, I highly recommend it. It comes with the documentary about the making of the film called Zombie Girl. That film is actually longer than Pathogen. I think it's about an hour and a half, while Pathogen is 66 minutes. That and this are sort of needed to be watched together because you can't have one without the other, really. Pathogen, you can see the fun that was there, and it's sort of like a gimmick that was made by a 12-year-old, for lack of a better word there. And Zombie Girl is a documentary about the kid making a movie. And on its own, it's a fine documentary, but watching these two together, or watching Zombie Girl first or this, whichever one, it really gives you a perspective on the other one. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really brought me back to my own childhood. It just felt very passionate, and it was very charming. Like I said, there was actually some pretty funny lines, and there was some stuff in this and like observations and stuff in the writing that could only be written by a kid. And it's kind of fun and interesting to look at like how that affects the movie itself. Like Emily's vision at 12 years old, like what she saw the world as is evident in this movie, what she thought was important, what all that. And I think that's something that speaks to not just people from my generation, but everybody's been a kid. You're gonna find a lot of stuff here that's gonna really remind you of your childhood. Really made me feel like a kid again. So for that, I mean, the film, I liked it still, even if it was done by adults, like I said, it would still be fun. But the quality of the film is less important than how this makes you feel, which is like a kid again, and that's something that you're not going to find a lot of in film. And this feels much more authentic and like something much more worth watching than a lot of modern horror films and stuff like that. Yeah, highly recommended. Give it a watch. Nothing really bad to say about this. The pacing is good. The cinematography is good. The sound editing, everything is good. And it's like unbelievable that it was made by a 12-year-old. There are times when there are problems with that, but you can see like sort of, even if they're rough around the edges, like seeds of a great director taking form. And it's really cool to see that because you can see Emily in future films sort of take what she learned at such an early age and like expand on it, fix the problems that she had, and incorporate that. Really cool because it's like you never see a modern director have a film that's from this early of an age, and this is one of those rare cases where like one of those films actually got released. I mean, everybody, or a lot of people, including myself, had made movies when we were kids, but I mean those are all it's locked away on some hard drive somewhere on VHS tapes, stuff like that. Nobody's going to see those in the light of day, and you're probably never going to find them. Not that you'd ever want to watch them and stuff like that, but it is really interesting to sort of be able to watch a film made by somebody that young and see their perspective on everything. So, rambling aside, I give Pathogen a 4 out of 5. I highly recommend it, though, and you should watch the accompanying documentary, Zombie Girl, as well. This has been Herschel Gillis, and this is Shock and Schlock. No thoughts, no brain cells, no planning, no editing. 0 editing, 0 brain cells, 0 review skills. That's it. Look out for my new merch, though. Follow my Instagram, at Shock and Schlock. There is a link there to purchase new merchandise with my new logo on it. Really proud of that. My wonderful girlfriend made that, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. All the profits from that design are going to be going directly to charity. Yeah, look out for that. It goes to LGBTQ teens in need at the Trevor Project. So, yeah, I'm not making any money on that, but if you want to get some Shock and Schlock merch and, support a good cause, look out for those as well. And as always, remember to subscribe, click that bell button to get notifications to keep this on. I'm your host, Herschel Gillis, and this has been Shock and Schlock. Follow me next time for a review of Sweet Movie. Haven't seen this yet, watching it tonight for the review for the channel. Pretty excited, heard it's pretty infamous. So, yeah, look out for that as well in the coming days. So, this has been Herschel Gillis, signing off. Remember to have a great day. Remember, no thoughts, only movies. No editing, only me rambling. That's it. You know what you're getting here, guys. You've been here for too long. And for the people that subscribed, thank you. I'm going to keep making content that's just as poorly lit, poorly planned out, and poorly done as this. So if you enjoy this content, keep following me for more. I'm going to keep doing it, even if you guys hate it. So thanks. I'm Herschel Gillis. I'll see you next week. Not next week. No editing, remember. I should edit this in post, but yeah, not next week, in the next few days. So this is Herschel Gillis signing out. Thanks, guys.